bodies.
When last we left off, Sam and I had brought home an Asteroids Deluxe from the depths of an abandoned house. Untouched for at least 20 years except by time and maybe small animals, this is the story, if you could call it that, of how it came back to life. But mostly just a showcase of what a machine lost in time can become again with a little bit of love and care.
Cleaning. Yeah, it's already looking a lot nicer though.
Mm-hmm.
I want to use the vacuum. If you look like this cardboard, pristine.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Oh,
no,
it's
it
in
doesn't
good
look
shape.
bad. It looks really clean. Are there any lights on the board?
There should be a 5-volt status LED, but it is not lit.
Initial investigation showed the machine was by and large complete, but mostly dead. The power supply surprisingly worked fine, however the PCB was toasted. Everything within was coated in an impenetrable layer of dust. Dust, however, did not cloud the imagination of what it could be once cleaned, so we set to work, magic erasers in hand, with copious amounts of Windex, cleaning glass and vinyl alike, to remove damage done both by the sun and by, well, arcade smokers. The single greatest piece of damage on the machine appeared to be the monitor deflection PCB. Some form of short, likely in a transistor, had resulted in a massive hole burned clean through the board. If I had to guess, this is the failure that consigned this machine to its lonely fate. Replacing all the connectors, filling in the burn spot, and replacing all the capacitors yielded a monitor in beautiful condition with no detectable screen burn, although it did require significant further adjustment to be usable. The time has come to graduate Asteroids Deluxe from the workshop to the game room. This is the same machine we picked up from an abandoned house on Valentine's Day just over 2 weeks ago, and now it's ready. It's been cleaned up quite a bit. We had to remove old decals and clean up the sides, clean up the control panel. I actually had to replace all the buttons because they were too stained and damaged to save. Replaced the carriage bolts, cleaned up the marquee, replaced the fluorescents, cleaned up the front of the cabinet, fixed the coin door, which was not working, and removed so much dust from inside where the mirror is in this machine. It was so dusty you couldn't actually see through it at all. The game board I ultimately did not get working, got the AR working, the speakers working, everything else working. The game board I almost had working. I could see asteroids, but then it died on me. And it died in a pretty wonky way, clicking the coin counter. So something's wrong in the NPU section. I have it still on the bench, but for the moment we have a new, well, I would not say new, but refurbished Asteroids Deluxe board, courtesy of Andrew B, inside the machine, and that will probably be this machine's primary board for the foreseeable future. So now we just have to maneuver this thing through a 140-year-old house, all the way from one side to another so that we can get it into the game room safely.
It was a quiet night on the cosmic space patrol. Everything seemed right on the cosmic space patrol. The beat was always the same. Nothing is the name of the game. Making the rounds of the cosmic space patrol. Suddenly the particle counter slipped into the red. Check those readouts, looks like trouble ahead. something of incredible size.
I'll pull all in for a quick go. And I'll lift the car up.
Began to shout. It's tripping monsters, look out, look out, look out. Asteroids.
We got it into the arcade! Right next to Space Station. It's a little buzzy, it's not perfect, but definitely great for a machine that probably hasn't been touched in at least 20 years. Just happy that this monitor had absolutely zero burn as a result. My turn.